Loading this up, and once again we're going to create a project, and we're going to define our devices, and we're going to set up a communication protocol between them. So let's remove that little netset junk project that I created. Let's create a new project, and this one I'm going to just call our demo, and I'm not going to worry about anything else. Let's just hit create. It says I've already got one of those, so I won't call it demo after all. I'll call it proof of concept. Alright, a little bit more elaborate name. It doesn't really matter what you call yours. Call it anything under the sun. It's going to be fine. Let's get this thing going here, and there we go. Now we want to click here on configure a device, add new device. And if you've got a PLC, here's where you want to select the one that you've got. If you don't got a PLC, you could theoretically select anything in the world, but for the sake of argument and just to keep everybody on the same page, go ahead and pick the same thing I'm picking, okay? So you've got three options here. Make sure that you've got controllers selected. And I'm going to go into my fabulous 1200 1214 DC 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 and take the bottom one, hit add, wait for it. It's going to think for a little bit, and at this point, once we've got our PLC selected, then we're going to go ahead and set up our HMI in here as well. And even though our HMI is PC based, we still need to set it up as a device. So I'm going to go ahead and I could set this Ethernet property down here, and I can set that for what we want, or I don't really have to since we're actually going to be using the simulator. So in that case, I'm just going to go ahead and leave it. It doesn't really matter for this project because we're not going to be running it on the actual PLC. So really, I'm just going to leave my PLC the way that it is and call it done. Let me come over here and double click on add new device. And now I want, even though I'm setting up an HMI, because this isn't an actual HMI panel, I'm going to be setting up a PC based HMI. So for that reason, I need to come down here to PC systems. And I'm going to take the somatic HMI application right here, and I'm going to try to expand that. And then I want WinCC RT Professional. And let's hit OK on that. And that's going to create us another device which is going to represent our HMI. So it's going to think for a little bit. There we go. Now we've got an HMI, but this device has no, you notice it doesn't have an Ethernet port or anything like that. So the project itself does not have a way for this to communicate with the outside world. So we're going to come over here to communication network. We're going to take this Profinet, the Ethernet right here. And down here on the bottom, you see we've got this IE general. I'm going to take that and drag that over here into this blue rectangle and release it. Okay, so now our PC based HMI has a way to talk to the outside world, and basically what that is going to be Ethernet. Simple. Alright, let's come over here to devices and networks and double click on that and come up here to connections, and I'm just going to define a connection between these two. So I'm going to draw a line from this Ethernet port right over here to this one and release. And there we go. We've got an HMI connection, and when I come down here, you see it's got that IE general to PLC1 Profinet interface. That's good. That looks like what I want it to look like. Okay. Last thing I'm going to do, let's come in here to HMI under WinCC RT Professional, and we're going to double check and make sure that our connection is defined. So when I double click on connections, You see here I've got HMI connection 1. It's pointing to my 1200. It's got the right model and everything. That's perfect. And I'm just going to change this name to, I'm going to call it S7-1200, because that's a little bit more explicit than HMI connection 1. You know, that way I actually know what I'm going to be talking to. So let's make sure that that's saved. Okay, we're good on that.